So why cultures matter? Why cultures matter? Because at the end of the day, we're all working to achieve a specific result or a series of results that we need to provide for the organization to continue to excel and move forward. And the assumptions impact the behavior through the culture of the organizations. And again, we talked about those assumptions, whether they're observed or not, but they're assuming either by what someone said, what they hear people saying, and so forth. And then that translates to the collective behavior of the employees that directly impacts the ability to achieve the results that we need to. So I know that in Marty's discussion last year of culture, he talked about 4 levers that leaders have at their disposal to really affect the way that the culture continues to move forward, or the way that they can begin to exert pressure to shift and change that culture. And these are the 4 that Schein talks about: actions and behavior of leaders. So it goes back to what Kouzes and Posner was saying, right? And model the way. If you expect folks to behave in a certain way, you must demonstrate and model the behavior to be copied and repeated down the line everywhere. So if we talk about espoused values and we talk about integrity, you better demonstrate your integrity through your performance and your behavior, not just what you say. And so you need to be aware of that. So I always used to tell folks that as you grow in your leadership roles, the spotlight becomes stronger and broader in everything that you do or see. So the higher profile you have in the organization because of the scope and responsibility that you have, the higher that light is going to keep following you everywhere you go. So you must make sure that you are modeling the way, that you're accepting the appropriate behavior, that you're taking accountability, that you're exerting accountability on others' behavior, but most importantly is you're behaving in the way that you want others to behave. The second piece is, everybody used to say the squeaky wheel gets the oil, but what's the leader really paying attention to? And is the leader investing their time and distributing their time in the most important things that that leader should be paying attention to? And that's an important question that we need to ask ourselves as leaders. And we need to be able to reflect, self-evaluate, and be highly self-aware of what it is that you're doing as a leader and how that investment in time messages to everyone what it is that you believe is important. And so that's really, really important to be able to understand that. We've talked about this. I've mentioned this before, and I think all of you have alluded to it, is what gets rewarded, what gets punished, what's acceptable behavior, what behavior gets ignored becomes the norm. So it's important to be very, very clear that if you expect behavior to move forward in a certain direction, and there are folks that are not moving in that direction, you have to make sure that they're accountable for that behavior, and that you are holding everyone else accountable for the appropriate behavior that's acceptable, that then supports the values that you've espoused as the ones that you're willing to accept. So if we're talking about integrity, we're talking about honesty, we're talking about respect, talking about all of those kinds of things, being accountable, making meetings on time, all of those kinds of things, you need to be able to demonstrate the behaviors, and you need to make sure that other people are accountable for those too, and you need to hold them accountable. And then again, the allocation of attention and resources. Again, it kind of leads to the second point, what you pay attention to, but also where are resources invested. And I know that the DoD always has all of these conflicts. Well, we want to make sure that we're taking care of families and we're doing this, but yet we don't invest enough in their housing, so they have infestations and all these other issues that then bubble up. And when it makes the front page of whatever newspaper, then all of a sudden allocated resources are there and they're being pulled from somewhere else because they weren't being paid attention to. And I know that now in the days of diminishing resources, we need to make sure that we prioritize them appropriately. And then on top of it, we need to be honest about what we can and cannot do.